All right, so today we're jumping into a piece of tech that honestly shaped a huge part of the modern web as we know it, jQuery. It's a JavaScript library that made life so much easier for developers everywhere. It's all about making web development faster, simpler, and way more accessible. So yeah, let's get into it.
So, check this out. What if you could say something in just a few words instead of a whole long sentence? That's exactly what we're looking at here. On the left, you've got your standard, plain JavaScript. It's a bit of a mouthful, right? Document.getElementById box.style.color equals red. Now look to the right. That's jQuery. $box.css color red. They both do the exact same thing. They find an element called box and make it red. But one is just so much cleaner, so much more concise. And that, right there, is the magic of jQuery.
Now, to really get why jQuery was such a huge deal, we got to rewind the clock a bit, back to the early days of the web, which for developers was kind of like the Wild West.
You see, back then, even the simplest tasks could require a ton of code. But the real nightmare, the thing that drove developers crazy, was browser compatibility. You could spend hours writing code that worked perfectly fine in, say, Internet Explorer, only to find out it was completely broken in Firefox or Netscape. It meant you had to write all this extra code, these little fixes and workarounds, just to make sure your site worked for everyone. It was tedious, it was frustrating, and it really slowed things down.
And then into this mess comes this amazing solution with a super simple philosophy: write less, do more. And you know what? This wasn't just some catchy slogan. It was a genuine promise to every frustrated developer out there. So what is it really? Well, at its heart, jQuery is a library. The best way to think about a library is as a big toolkit of pre-written shortcuts. It takes all these common but complicated tasks, like finding things on a web page, changing them, making them animate, and wraps them up in these simple, easy-to-use functions. And the best part, they just work no matter which browser you're using.
And you know, the key to all this power is its core syntax, which, you'll be happy to hear, is incredibly simple and really consistent once you see it.
Pretty much everything you do in jQuery follows this simple three-part recipe. First, you have the $. That's kind of the secret handshake. It tells the browser, hey, we're using jQuery now. Second is the selector. This is where you tell jQuery what part of the web page you want to find. And third, you have the action, which is simply what you want to do to it. So you find a thing, and then you do something to that thing. That's it. Let's look at a super clear example. See this code? $p.hide. Following our pattern, the selector $p finds every single paragraph tag on the entire page. And the action, .hide, well, it does exactly what you'd think. With just that one little line of code, boom, every paragraph on your website just disappears. That's pretty powerful stuff for so few characters. Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into that middle part, the selector. A great way to think about selectors is like a super fast, laser-focused search engine just for your web page. If you can describe what you're looking for, chances are jQuery can find it for you. The most basic search is just by the HTML tag name. For example, $P grabs all the paragraphs. Want all the main headlines? You'd use $H1. Need to find every single image? Just type $IMG. It's a really straightforward way to grab big groups of elements all at once.
But what if you don't want a big group? What if you need one very specific element? That's where the ID selector is perfect. In HTML, an ID is supposed to be totally unique, like a person's fingerprint. So, by using that hash symbol, like in #header, you're telling jQuery to find that one and only one element on the page. It's incredibly precise.
Then there's the class selector. This is what you use when you want to select a specific group of related items. Think about a shopping website, right? You might have a dozen products each displayed in a card that should look and behave the same. By using the period, like in $square bracket.card, you can grab every single one of those cards and apply a change to all of them at once.
And it gets even cooler. You can add these little filters to make your selections even more specific. It's like pouring your search results through a sieve. For instance, say you have a list with 10 items. If you only want the very first one, you can use $li first. Or what if you want to select every other row in a table to give it a different background color? Yep, there's a filter for that too. It gives you so much control.
So once you've found an element, jQuery also makes it super easy to find other elements related to it. The best analogy for a web page's structure, which is officially called the Document Object Model, or DOM, is to think of it like a family tree. It's got parents, children, and siblings.
Take a look at this simple structure. Here, the div element is the parent. Inside it, we have a UL element, an unordered list. That UL is the child of the div. Then, inside the UL, we have two LI elements, or list items. Since they're both children of the same UL, that makes them siblings. Understanding these relationships is the key to navigating around the page.
So, if we use that family tree we just looked at, imagine you've selected the first list item, item 1. Now you want to get its sibling. Well, you don't have to start a whole new search from scratch. You just chain on the .next action, and jQuery instantly finds the very next sibling, which is item 2. So simple.
And it works going up the tree too. If you're currently on item 1 and you need to find the element that contains it, you just use the .parent action. And just like that, you've selected the UL element that holds it. This way of moving around the page just feels so natural and intuitive.
Okay, so we've seen all these examples, all this cool syntax, but why does this one library have such a massive legacy? What's the real big picture takeaway here?
It really all boils down to this one simple, powerful idea. jQuery took all the complex, often frustrating parts of working with web pages and hid them away inside these simple, easy-to-read commands. And by doing that, it lowered the barrier to entry. It made web development faster and way more accessible to a whole new generation of coders.
When you look back, jQuery's success was just plain smart. First, it used the same kind of selectors that web designers were already using in CSS, so it felt familiar. It automatically handled all those annoying browser differences for you, so you didn't have to worry about it. It made navigating the page feel logical, like walking through that family tree. And it let you chain actions together, which made the code so much cleaner and easier to understand.
Ultimately, the greatest lesson from jQuery is that powerful tools don't need to be overly complicated. Its whole philosophy really paved the way for the modern web frameworks we use today, which all try to solve complex problems with elegant solutions. And that kind of leaves us with a pretty interesting question to think about. As technology keeps moving forward, what's going to be the next big write less, do more idea?